Here we can see another example of a mountain creating a desert-like area. This band here is a normal desert, but what goes down here is because of mountain. If we look at elevation, we see that there's a big mountain here with roughly 4 kilometers at its peak. And the temperature map shows that it's very cold here. Thusly, it doesn't grow there. Interesting. An interesting example of a mountain being reflected in the vegetation map. Here is another interesting feature. We have a canyon, a very shallow canyon with large vegetation growth surrounded by mostly grassland. If we look at precipitation, the precipitation in this area is very low, so there shouldn't be much growth. But because the large precipitation up here creates these rivers, which flows down, it creates large rivers which feeds this vegetation. Very interesting. And this is a very interesting area. We can see here a sort of canyon where there is vegetation growth, and up here there is even some mountains, it looks like. If we look at the elevation map, you can see down here it's surrounded by mountains, which explains why it doesn't grow. And here it's so north that if we look at the temperature, it's probably too cold for it to grow. So it creates this sort of canyon of growth, which is very interesting. Here we see an interesting example where in the lower land close to the ocean, forests grow. But here, up on the highland, look at the elevation map, we see it's a highland here. Very little grows, only small grasses and shrubs. Here, this grey spot here indicates that nothing grows at all. And if we look at the elevation map again, we see that there's a mountain here with an elevation of roughly 1 kilometer. And we look at the here along the equator, we see a drop in the biomass along this ridge. Interesting, if we look at elevation, this is a mountain range. So the mountain range is represented in the biomass map. Very interesting.